On this vote, the yeas are 211 and the nays are 208. With 0 answering present, the joint resolution is passed. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is the vote on passage of House Joint Resolution 106, on which the yeas and nays are ordered. The clerk will report the title of the joint resolution.
House Joint Resolution 106, joint resolution providing for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title 5 United States Code of the rules submitted by the Bureau of Land Management relating to Central Yukon Record of Decision and Approved Resource Management Plan.
The question is on passage of the joint resolution. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote. On this vote, the yeas are 215, the nays are 210. The joint resolution is passed. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is the vote on passage of House Joint Resolution 105, on which the yeas and nays are ordered. The clerk will report the title of the joint resolution.
House Joint Resolution 105, joint resolution providing for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title 5 United States Code of the rules submitted by the Bureau of Land Management relating to North Dakota Field Office Record of Decision and Approved Resource Management Plan.
Question is on passage of the joint resolution. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote.
On this vote, the yeas are 215, the nays are 211. The joint resolution is passed. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Pursuant to House Resolution 672 and Rule 18, the Chair declares the House in the Committee of the Whole House on the State of the Union for further consideration of H.R. 4553. Will the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Moran, kindly take the chair?
The House is in the Committee of the Whole House of the State on the State of the Union for further consideration of H.R. 4553, which the clerk will report by title.
A bill making appropriations for energy and water development and related agencies for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2026, and for other purposes.
When the Committee of the Whole rose earlier today, a request for a recorded vote on amendment number 30, printed in House Report 119-232, offered by the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Perry, had been postponed. Pursuant to Clause 6 of Rule 18, proceedings will now resume on those amendments printed in the House Report 119-232, on which further proceedings were postponed in the following order. Amendments 23 through 30, all by Mr. Perry of Pennsylvania. The Chair will reduce to 2 minutes the minimum time for any electronic vote in this series. The unfinished business is a request for a recorded vote on amendment number 23, printed in the House Report 119-232 by the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Perry, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the ayes prevail by vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 23, printed in House Report number 119-232, offered by Mr. Perry of Pennsylvania.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 2-minute vote. This vote, the yeas are 195, the nays are 235. The amendment is not adopted. The unfinished business is the request for a recorded vote on amendment number 24, printed in House Report 119-232 by the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Perry, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the ayes prevail by voice vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 24, printed in House Report number 119-232, offered by Mr. Perry of Pennsylvania.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 2-minute vote. On this vote, the yeas are 143, the nays are 285. The amendment is not adopted. The unfinished business is a request for a recorded vote on amendment number 25, printed in House Report 119-232 by the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Perry, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the ayes prevail by voice vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 25, printed in House Report number 119-232, offered by Mr. Perry of Pennsylvania.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 2-minute vote. On this vote, the yeas are 77, the nays are 347. The amendment is not adopted. The unfinished business is a request for a recorded vote on amendment number 26, printed in House Report 119-232 by the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Perry, on which further proceedings were postponed, and on which the ayes prevail by voice vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 26, printed in House Report number 119-232, offered by Mr. Perry of Pennsylvania.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 2-minute vote. On this vote, the yeas are 140, the nays are 286. The amendment is not adopted. The unfinished business is the request for a recorded vote on amendment number 27, printed in House Report 119-232 by the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Perry, on which further proceedings were postponed, and on which the ayes prevail by voice vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 27, printed in House Report number 119-232, offered by Mr. Perry of Pennsylvania.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 2-minute vote. this vote, the yeas are 120, the nays are 306. The amendment is not adopted. The unfinished business is a request for a recorded vote on amendment number 28, printed in House Report 119-232 by the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Perry, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the yeas prevail by voice vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 28, printed in House Report number 119-232, offered by Mr. Perry of Pennsylvania.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 2-minute vote. On this vote, the yeas are 124, the nays are 303. The amendment is not adopted. The unfinished business is a request for a recorded vote on amendment number 29, printed in House Report 119-232 by the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Perry, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the ayes prevailed by voice vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 29, printed in House Report number 119-232, offered by Mr. Perry of Pennsylvania.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 2-minute vote. On this vote, the yeas are 127, the nays are 299. The amendment is not adopted. The unfinished business is a request for a recorded vote on amendment number 30, printed in House Report 119-232 by the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Perry, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the ayes prevailed by voice vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 30, printed in House Report number 119-232, offered by Mr. Perry of Pennsylvania.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. The members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 2-minute vote. On this vote, the yeas are 120, the nays are 307. The amendment is not adopted. For what purpose does the gentleman from Tennessee seek recognition?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee do rise.
The question is on the motion that the committee rise. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Accordingly, the committee rises. Mr. Speaker, the Committee of the Whole House on the State of the Union, having had under consideration H.R. 4553, directs me to report that it has come to no resolution thereon.
The chair of the Committee of the Whole House on the State of the Union report that the committee has under consideration H.R. 4553 and has come to no resolution thereon. In order. The House will be in order. The chair will now entertain requests for 1-minute speeches. For what purpose does the gentleman from Colorado seek recognition?
To address the House for 1 minute and to revise and extend my remarks.
The gentleman is now recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize and celebrate the 25th anniversary of the extraordinary impact that Parents Challenge has made in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Parents Challenge empowers low-income families to access the best schools for their children by providing critical financial support for tuition, tutoring, transportation, technology, and school supplies. School choice opportunities span the full spectrum of educational options, including traditional public schools, private schools, charter schools, and homeschools. Mr. Speaker, I ask that my colleagues join me in congratulating and thanking Parents Challenge for its steadfast commitment to empowering parents with school choice. Over the past 25 years, Parents Challenge has enriched the lives of more than 4,000 low-income students and their families. Thank you, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Tennessee seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn to meet at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Without objection. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from California seek recognition?
I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
ICE is out of control. Everyone needs to know the nightmare that is unfolding for my constituent and his family. Last month, ICE detained Benjamin Guerrero Cruz while he was walking his dog. Benjamin is a rising senior and in junior ROTC at Reseda High School. He is a kid who wants to serve our community. He has been in ICE detention for the past month, separated from his family and friends. Last week, ICE transferred Benjamin from California to Arizona. Less than 24 hours later, Benjamin was slated to be transferred again to Louisiana, but was instead sent back to California. This all occurred without his family knowing. This is why I introduced the INFORM Act. The INFORM Act brings transparency to ICE's decision-making process and fights for the dignity of detainees. When I visited the Adelanto Detention Center to get answers into ICE's decision-making process, ICE blocked me. I will keep fighting and seeking justice for Benjamin, his family, and all immigrants.
For what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is now recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor Wesley Leigh Patner. a remarkable New Yorker who was senselessly murdered in late July. Her passing is a tremendous loss to all who had the privilege of knowing her. Wesley was a remarkable leader, an accomplished executive who oversaw Blackstone's real estate investment fund, a devoted wife and mother, and a true force for good in our community. Through her work with the UJA Federation of New York and her tireless volunteerism, she poured her energy and wisdom into strengthening the Jewish community, supporting Israel, and mentoring those who followed in her footsteps. Her life was defined by service, compassion, and conviction. She gave generously of herself, balancing a demanding career with a steadfast devotion to her family. And in every space she entered, she lifted others up. Today we grieve with her husband Evan, their children Emerson and Jonathan, her parents, and all who loved her, including her colleagues at Blackstone. May Wesley's memory always be a blessing, and may her example continue to inspire us to lead with purpose, generosity, and love. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Georgia seek recognition? Without objection, the gentleman is now recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to advocate for America's foresters who are in desperate need of our help. Under our current tax code, forest owners do not receive tax relief from the loss of their timber crops. We are in the heart of hurricane season, and countless foresters are left wondering if the next storm will be the one that shuts down their family farm for good. This is unacceptable. My bill, the Disaster Reforestation Act, offers a simple fix to an issue that has harmed American foresters for far too long. Under the Disaster Reforestation Act, foresters will be able to deduct the true value of timber destroyed by natural disasters from their taxes. This would help provide immediate relief for landowners affected by wildfires, hurricanes, or other disasters. This bill will save family forestry in America, and I urge my colleagues to co-sponsor this bipartisan, bicameral piece of legislation, and I urge its immediate passage. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition? Without objection, the gentleman is now recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise with a heavy heart tonight to note the passing of a really good friend, colleague I came up with in the state legislature, Mr. Sam Paredes, as he was a strong advocate to protect all of our rights as Americans, focusing on the Second Amendment through his work with Gun Owners of California, Gun Owners of America, and through the foundation. But beyond that, Sam, this is a good man. This is a great patriot, a great family man who his family is right there beside him, working the events, working the efforts out there to protect people's basic freedoms on that. As a man of strong faith who believed in God and loved Jesus and always would sign off each night with his family with all is well in the kingdom. You don't find a lot of people like that in the political realm there, who's beyond politics. The movement he helped build for the Second Amendment is stronger because of him, and that legacy will continue long after we can't remember about it. He's an unwavering commitment to liberty. Indeed, his leadership helped shape the national movement to protect, keep, and bear arms. But again, beyond that, the man himself, attention, personal attention to people, to make sure they're okay, to be that friend, to be that big bear of a guy who you just don't see very many people like that in this world, especially in the realm of politics, as I mentioned. So he'll be severely missed, greatly loved by his family. It was a surprise that we lost him, and I will miss him as well. Indeed, a great man, a great patriot, There's not anything I could say that even fulfills what a good man this is. So God bless his family. God bless Sam Paredes. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House be adjourned.
The question is on the motion to adjourn. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Accordingly, the House stands adjourned until 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Looking to take the next step in your career? Then you have to get this AWS course on Udemy. It gets you up to date on the latest tools and techniques so you can learn AWS fundamentals and pass your exam. Take this course at your own pace, on your commute, after work, so get this course now.
For any electronic vote in this series. The unfinished business is the request for a recorded vote on amendment number 23, printed in the House Report 119-232 by the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Perry, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the ayes prevail by vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 23, printed in House Report number 119-232, offered by Mr. Perry of Pennsylvania.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 2-minute vote.
He was proud to work with and for the House of Representatives. He was one of us. an institution by and for the people, and he was a voice for a community that deserves our utmost respect and attention. During our time together, Walt treated his role with care and seriousness it demanded. He also handled it with joy and good humor. Walt's presence was all-encompassing. His laughter boomed through our offices, and his storytelling captivated every audience. He put his entire self into his work, and he was a friend to us, his coworkers. Above all, he was a devoted husband and father. To know Walt was to know his family. He beamed with love and pride for his wife, Ashley, and his 4 children, Eric, Walt, Gianna, and Haley. And it is with this beautiful family in mind, and with their blessing, that I share the next part of this story. On June 9th of this year, Walt took his own life. It is a painful, sad, and difficult truth to share, and I share it because it is not the manner of Walt's death that is his true story. It is how he lived with humor and compassion and love of others. But it is also, we know, a crisis in this country. Every day, many veterans die in this country from suicide. Walt spent his entire life saving servicemen and women, his brothers and sisters, from this very fate that we now eulogize him. It is difficult for me to comprehend, for our team to comprehend, for his family. In the days that followed Walt's death, the outpouring of grief and love and disbelief was beyond anything I've witnessed. His death reverberated in my district, through Conshohocken, Montgomery County, and frankly, across the entire Commonwealth and nation, because that's how many lives Walt touched. That's how people cared about him, because he was a reflection of care. His is an extraordinary loss for our community, the Conshohocken community, for veterans, and for my office personally. And today, as we celebrate or recognize September Suicide Prevention Month, today, September the 3rd, would have been Walt's 48th birthday. So as we mourn and grapple with his death, and yet we celebrate his life, I share Walt's story as a way to please help others, to say you are not alone, to say people love you and are available to help you. Just reach out your hand, and we must reach out our hands as well. To say that veterans have endured so much, far beyond anything we can imagine, it is up to us to ensure that they get the aid they deserve. We must do better by veterans. Walt sure did. God bless Walt Hartnett. God bless the Hartnett family, and may his memory forever be a blessing. I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Carter, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor Flynn Warren, Jr. Born in Mount Holly, North Carolina, Flynn graduated high school a year early and was known in town as the local genius. He attended Belmont Abbey College, where he was named MVP of the golf team for 2 consecutive years. He later earned his bachelor's in pharmacy degree from the University of South Carolina and his master's degree from the University of Georgia. Flynn went on to serve as a faculty member at the University of Georgia, retiring as a clinical professor and assistant dean for student affairs. In 2003, he was elected president of the Georgia Pharmacy Association and served on the boards of the Georgia Pharmacy Foundation and the International Association of Torch Clubs, mentoring countless students along the way. Flynn was devoted to his family and community, volunteering with many organizations and helping anyone in need. He is survived by his loving wife, Monica, and their children. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor the life and the legacy of Tom Cousins. Tom Cousins was one of the most influential figures in Georgia's history, transforming Atlanta into one of the nation's leading cities. At just 16, he enrolled at the University of Georgia, earning a degree in finance and graduating in the top 10% of his class. After graduation, he served in the United States Air Force, rising to the rank of first lieutenant. Following his service, he founded a real estate company with his father, becoming the largest home builder in Georgia. Tom later purchased key properties in downtown Atlanta and was instrumental in relocating the St. Louis Hawks to the city. Beyond business, he led the East Lake Revitalization Project, turning turning the neighborhood into a thriving urban community. His vision and leadership left an enduring mark on Georgia and its capital. Today we remember Tom Cousins for his extraordinary contributions. Atlanta would not be Atlanta had it not been for Tom Cousins. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to celebrate one of Georgia's own, Mason Howell of Thomasville, who made history by capturing the 125th U.S. Amateur Championship. Mason's path to victory was nothing short of extraordinary. He battled his way out of a 20-man playoff, defeated some of the world's highest-ranked amateurs, and ultimately claimed one of golf's most prestigious titles. Only 18 years old, Mason displayed composure far beyond his years. He refused to be intimidated, showing that perseverance and confidence can overcome even the toughest competition. His triumph makes him the third youngest champion in U.S. amateur history, a distinction that places him alongside the game's legends and even ahead of Tiger Woods in the record books. This remarkable accomplishment has earned Mason invitations to the Masters, the U.S. Open, and a spot on the 2025 U.S. Walker Cup team. From his beginnings in Thomasville to the national stage, Mason Howard embodies the values of hard work, dedication, and belief in oneself. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize Major General Bobby Christine, a proud alumnus of Samford University's Cumberland School of Law, and his appointment as the 43rd Judge Advocate General of the United States Army. Major General Christine was confirmed by the Senate on June 29, 2025, and assumed his duties on July 1, 2025, becoming the Army's top legal officer and senior uniformed lawyer. In this role, he provides legal counsel to the Secretary of the Army and the Chief of Staff, while leading the Judge Advocate General's Corps and delivering legal services across the Army. His distinguished career includes both private practice and government service, where he has demonstrated integrity, professionalism, and an unwavering commitment to causes greater than himself. Major General Christine's leadership will play a vital role in guiding the Army through transformation and readiness for the future. I congratulate him on this historic achievement and thank him for his service to our nation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from New York, Mr. Kennedy, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor the life and legacy of my dear friend, Gene Vukovic, a man whose vision and leadership have left an indelible mark on our community, our state, and our nation. Gene passed away at the age of 94 on August 3rd of this year. Gene Vukovic was a successful businessman, a devoted husband and father, a veteran, and a man of deep faith and enormous generosity whose impact on Western New York will be felt for generations to come. Gene was a patriot. After serving his country honorably as an instructor sergeant with the United States Marine Corps, 3rd Division, Gene returned home to Buffalo and devoted himself to building both his family and his father's business, Triad Distributing, into a regional powerhouse. Over the span of 6 decades, Gene grew what started as a small family business during Prohibition into our region's premier beverage distribution company, now in its 4th generation of family leadership. Under his leadership, the company grew from a modest operation of 12 employees into a cornerstone of Western New York's economy, employing over 600 individuals and operating statewide. Through subsidiaries like Balkan Beverage and Saratoga Eagle Sales and Service, Triad became one of the largest distributors in the nation, while remaining true to its roots as a family business. Gene's love for his family was the foundation of it all. Alongside his beloved wife of 67 years, Carol, they raised a large and loving family, instilling in their children the same commitment to community that defined Gene's life. Gene's 7 children, Mary Ellen, Paul, Suzanne, Timothy, Jeffrey, Peter, Matt, and his late son, Gregory, 21 grandchildren, and 21 great-grandchildren are a testament to the values he embodied. Beyond his family, Gene poured his energy into strengthening Western New York through philanthropy and service. From the Muscular Dystrophy Association to Narden Academy, from Canisius University to Mercy Hospital, and so many more, countless organizations and institutions flourished because of his support. But those who knew Gene will tell you his generosity was never about recognition. It was a chance to give back, to make a difference, and to lift others up. Gene was a proud graduate of Canisius High School, class of 1948, and he lived the values instilled in him through his Jesuit education. He mentored countless young people and never hesitated to lend a helping hand, quietly offering support to those in need, expecting nothing in return. That is who Gene was, a provider, a protector, and a man with a heart too big to measure. Western New York has lost a giant and one of our greatest champions. We will remember Gene Vukovic for the business he built, for the community he nurtured, the causes he supported, the people he loved, and the legacy he leaves us. His life reminds us that true success lies in service to others. I ask my colleagues to join me in honoring the memory of Gene P. Vukovic and in extending our deepest condolences to the entire Vukovic family. May Gene Vukovic rest in peace, and may we all strive to lead with his same sense of purpose and compassion. I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Klein, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today I rise with pride to honor the incredible athletes of Clark County High School, who for the first time since 2009 are state champs in girls track and field. The Eagles won the 4x400 meter relay to surge past the competition and win the Class II state meet at James Madison University. Led by seniors Taya Starley, who captured the 800 meter title and anchored the 4x4 relay, Reagan Megatron Meyer, whose triple jump and 200 meters earned crucial points, and the ever-determined Abigail Cochran and Molly Husted, the Eagles soared to victory. They were joined by their teammates Kendall Harmon, Grace Gorensky, Kennedy Money, Emma Husted, and Mia Timberlake, who each gave it their all. None of this would have been possible without Coach Andre Kidrick, a true leader in his 18th and final season. His legacy, built on heart, toughness, and unity, will echo through Clark County for generations. He was assisted by coaches Jamie Starley, Gary Weimer, Nancy Specht, Regina Dowling, and Jeff Webster in a true team effort. Mr. Speaker, please join me in congratulating these young women, their coaches, and the entire Clark County community on this remarkable achievement. Go Eagles. Mr. Speaker, I rise to honor the Glenver High School Highlanders boys soccer team, 2025 Virginia Class II state champs for the third straight year. Led by head coach Josh Jones, captains Kean Fisher, Jake Williams, and Aiden Hilton, and a remarkable roster, Grayson Shepard, Tyler Shannon, Jackson Jones, Alan View, Keys Van Gerven, Gavin Miller, Tyler Curtis, Seth Nichols, Levi King, Zach Brown, Heath Russell, Luke Farmer, Parker Doolin, Avery McClanahan, Cooper Mullins, Zach Adams, Henry Schruth, Griffin Geddes, Adam Saunders, James Hosch, Alex Rotkamp, Ryder, Francisco, Evan Harris, Wesley Feliciano, and Connor Magruder. This squad delivered perfection, a 23-0 record, outscoring opponents 134-3, dominating with 20 shutouts and trailing for only 4 minutes all year. In the June 14th final, goals from Hilton and Saunders secured a 2-0 win over Bruton, claiming their 5th straight Regency and 3 Rivers District titles and extending a 61-game unbeaten streak, 98-3 and 2 ties since 2021. I commend the entire coaching and support staff as well as school leadership for guiding these young men to excellence. Congratulations, Glenver Highlanders. You have made Glenver and the Roanoke Valley proud. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize the Virginia Poultry Federation, which is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. In August of 1925, a group of poultrymen gathered at Virginia Tech for the first Poultry Field Day, where they organized the Virginia Poultry Federation and began a century-long mission to strengthen and support the poultry and egg industry. For the past 100 years, the Federation has served farmers, processors, and businesses through effective advocacy, youth programs, scholarships, and vital partnerships. From education and outreach to supporting 4-H, FFA, and ag in the classroom, its contributions extend far beyond the farm. Today, more than 1,000 farm families depend on this thriving industry, which generates billions of dollars in wages and economic impact across the Commonwealth of Virginia. Nowhere is this more evident than in Virginia's 6th Congressional District, the birthplace of the modern poultry industry and the top producing region in Virginia today. The continued strength of the poultry and egg industries in the Shenandoah Valley and across the Commonwealth is a testament to the Federation's enduring commitment to its mission. I commend President Hobie Bond and the Virginia Poultry Federation on a century of service, leadership, and its success, and I wish them many more years of growth and innovation. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to highlight the importance of common sense policies that put public safety first. For too long, we've seen soft-on-crime approaches that let repeat offenders walk free, putting law-abiding citizens at risk. But recent data from Washington, D.C. shows that when we take crime seriously, communities become a safer place. Since President Trump took decisive action to tackle crime head-on in our nation's capital, burglaries have dropped by nearly half, and car thefts have fallen by 36%. These are not just numbers on a page. They represent families who can walk their neighborhoods with greater peace of mind. They represent small business owners who feel more secure about opening their doors. They represent children who can play outside without the same fear of violence. This is what happens when we adopt common sense policies. Holding criminals accountable works. Protecting communities works. Supporting law enforcement works. D.C.'s progress should serve as a model for the rest of the country. The American people are tired of failed policies that prioritize criminals over victims. We should reject those failed approaches and instead double down on strategies that deliver results for America. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from New York, Mr. Latimer, for 5 minutes. Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm a proud son of Mount Vernon, New York. I was born there, I went to school there, and it shaped the person that I am today. My roots run deep in that community, and I carry its values with me every day in my work here in Congress. During World War I, 22 fellow sons of Mount Vernon answered the call to serve and join the fight to defend freedom abroad. These men became part of the legendary Harlem Hellfighters, the 369th Infantry Regiment of the New York Army National Guard. The Harlem Hellfighters hold a remarkable and important place in our nation's history. Comprised primarily of black Americans, this unit was among the first African-American regiments to serve with the American Expeditionary Forces during the First World War, and a later version served in the Second World War. Because the U.S. Army remained segregated at that time, these men were assigned to fight under French command. They spent nearly 200 days in frontline trenches, more than any other American unit. They faced unimaginable hardship, but never wavered. They suffered the most casualties of any American regiment, with nearly 1,500 men making the ultimate sacrifice. Yet, despite their heroism and service, they returned home to a country that did not afford them the recognition they earned. Today, that changes. This afternoon, these brave men, our Harlem Hellfighters, will be honored with the Congressional Gold Medal, the highest civilian award Congress can bestow. This long overdue recognition honors their extraordinary valor, their unwavering service, and their critical place in American history. The men of the 369th embodied courage, resilience, and patriotism in the face of adversity. They are more than deserving of this distinction. In a few hours, I will join their descendants in laying a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. We will pay tribute to those who served, sacrificed, and whose names were too long left unspoken. Their legacy lives on in Mount Vernon, in New York, and across this nation that they helped defend. We honor them today and remember them always. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to salute the life and achievements of Lola Daniels Hunter, who served our community as president of the White Plains Greenburgh branch of the NAACP, as a board member of the Greenburgh Police and Advisory Committee, and as a leader of the North Elmsford Civic Associations. For over 50 years, Lola Daniels Hunter was a member of the Bethel Baptist Church in White Plains, serving in board leadership. She showed her professional skills in the Westchester County Department of Social Services and achieved a BA degree from the College of New Rochelle and an MPA from Pace University. She is survived by her daughter, Priscilla Ann Daniels, and legions of friends and neighbors in Greenburgh and White Plains and Mamaroneck who loved her as she loved them and the community. She is with the Lord now, but we are all better for her time with us. Rest in power, Lola. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Iowa, Mr. Feenstra, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to congratulate my friend and fellow Iowan, Dan Houston, on his retirement from Principal Financial Group after 41 years of service. From starting his first job at Principal in 1984 to eventually becoming chairman, president, and CEO, Dan exemplifies the power and hard work and dedication. His decisions have helped more families achieve financial security and plan for tomorrow. Dan has also committed himself at Principal Financial to philanthropic causes in Des Moines and across the state of Iowa. Under his leadership, Principal donated generously to the United Way, the annual Principal Charity Golf Classic, which raised millions of dollars for the youth, and the Principal Foundation awards grants to worthy causes, including disaster recovery, affordable housing, and small business development. Dan has always prioritized the people that Principal Financial serves, putting families and our communities first. In his retirement, Dan will have more time to focus on the things that truly matter most, spending time with his wife, Joni, his children, and his grandchildren, and devoting his talents to causes and organizations near and dear to his heart. I thank Dan for his incredible contributions to Iowa and wish him and his family the very best in his next chapter of life. Thank you, and I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from New York, Mr. Espaillat, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, students across the country started to head back to school this week. For many, school is so much more than just a place for learning. For 13 million food insecure children, it's a place where they can rely on having a meal twice a day. Yes, even 6 decades after Michael Harrington published the great book, The Other America, which became a blueprint to fight poverty and hunger in America. This book was published by Michael Harrington during the Kennedy administration. Hunger still exists in America. School is also a place that provides after-school programming that keeps students engaged and off the streets. It's a place where students are able to receive medical care during and through school-based health clinics. So if a student gets an asthma attack, those first critical minutes will be attended to at a school-based clinic. So schools are so much more than just a place for learning. Unfortunately, Republicans have introduced a labor HHS and education bill that will cut the Department of Education funding by $66.7 billion. These cuts will be devastating to the academic achievement of kids, students across the country. But Republicans want to have it both ways. They want to eliminate Title III English acquisition grants for English language learners, while the rest of the world is pushing to have their children, their students, mastered and be proficient in more than one language so they could be competitive across the planet. These cuts are being implemented. And they want English to be the only language, an English country, making it less competitive than other countries that want their children to be proficient in several languages. They want to lower crime, but they are cutting vital funding like the Nita Lowey 21st Century Community Learning Centers, which provide after-school funding that keep kids off the streets and out of trouble. While the National Guard is being deployed right here in D.C., they're cutting these programs that will help young people stay off the corner. They want America to have a stronger economy with the most advanced workforce, but are cutting Title I funding that helps all kids, especially ones that come from low-income backgrounds, have the best chance for success. Student academic achievement is the cornerstone of national security, but fewer than a third of our students nationwide can read at an appropriate grade level. These academic achievement gaps will only be exacerbated as Republicans and the Trump administration continue their campaign against the immigrant community, as parents are afraid they will drop their kids in school and never see them again. We must continue to invest in education and educational programs that will help all students get back on track. We must bring back the investment and pride that once, at one point, made America the envy of the world and the American public school system the great equalizer for kids all across the country. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Kansas, Mr. Mann, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, over the August in-district work period, I had the privilege of meeting with Kansans from all across the district, from Salina to Great Bend, Hutch to Waukegan, Hoxie to Jetmore, Hayes to Hill City. It is the honor of my life to represent the Big First District of Kansas in this Congress, and I was grateful to spend time with Kansans while I was able to be home. For a fifth year in a row, I visited all 60 counties in the Big First District, and I had the chance to hear about the impacts of the One Big Beautiful Bill will make on our families and our communities. As I visited companies and families across the Big First District, stop after stop, my fellow Kansans expressed their appreciation for the wins the bill delivers for Kansas families. They are relieved that we were able to prevent the largest tax hike in American history from working and middle-class families. They're grateful to have a Congress and a White House that embraces pro-family policies and our commitments to doubling the child tax credit and expanding 529 education savings accounts. These are common-sense policies that promote and strengthen families across the nation, and they're yet another promise made, promise kept. Small business owners and family farms shared how monumental our legislation is for their family. We were able to make the 199A small business deduction permanent, allowing agriculture and small business families to keep more of their hard-earned dollars. Farm families were relieved that they no longer have to fear being forced to sell land when they lose a loved one. By expanding the death tax exemption, we brought the tax code in line with today's farm economy and allowed more farm families to keep their operations in the family. This is life-changing for millions of families across the country and throughout the Big First District. Farmers, ranchers, and agriculture producers were also grateful that our legislation restored a decades-old standard that exempts the value of assets found on family farms and small businesses from being assessed as part of a family's net worth. Over the past few years, net farm income has decreased by nearly 25%. When young people from these families are applying for higher education financial aid, the assets tied up in the family farm or the small business should not count against them. Our bill makes their lives easier, not harder, by leveling the playing field for these students and families, while protecting the American dream for every student, regardless of their parents' careers. Our farmers were also deeply grateful for the common sense provisions that ensure our tax incentives benefit American-grown products and American farmers, not foreign producers. By extending the 45Z tax credit and limiting eligibility to domestic feedstocks, this majority delivered long-term certainty for American agriculture. Kansas farmers started the year needing a new farm bill that meets the needs for today and not from 6 years ago. Last year, congressional Democrats held farm country hostage and chose to play political games rather than work with congressional Republicans to pass a new 5-year farm bill. In the One Big Beautiful Bill, our Republican majority answered rural America's call by updating reference prices, doubling investments in crucial trade promotion programs like MAP and FMD, and expanding crop insurance. These are all common sense policies that allow our farmers to feed, fuel, and clothe the world without the fear of losing everything because of a bad crop year. This legislation was life-changing for the agriculture families in my district. Mr. Speaker, our work is cut out for us in the weeks ahead. The One Big Beautiful Bill has shown that this majority can do for the country, and we ought to build on that momentum by passing policies that promote safety in American communities, continue to strengthen American agriculture, and steward American taxpayer dollars responsibly while cutting wasteful spending. I look forward to working with this majority to deliver on these promises, and I'm excited to see all that we can do in the next 4 months. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Ohio, Ms. Sykes, for 5 minutes.
And to the fiscal year 26 Energy and Water Appropriations Bill. At a time when energy costs are skyrocketing for my constituents, Republicans are trying to make it even harder for them to keep their homes warm and keep the lights on. For example, this bill makes massive cuts to the Department of Energy's Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy, including a nearly $10 million cut to Ohio. That's a 44% cut. Republicans' cuts to this office include cuts to the Weatherization Assistance Program, which reduces energy costs by increasing the energy efficiency of their home. These cuts are compounded by the fact that ratepayers in Ohio are on the hook for a corrupt bill that adds hundreds of energy costs to bail out a coal plant in Indiana. Ohioans cannot afford any more Republican malfeasance that literally cost Ohioans hundreds of dollars a year. But even more, this bill does not adequately fund two authorities in my district that were created under the Water Resources Development Act of 2024. The Bipartisan Water Resources Development Act authorized projects across the United States for water and wastewater infrastructure that are critical to strengthen the flood protection and resiliency of our communities and complete ecosystem restoration that maintains America's vital natural resources. This legislation specifically authorized $49 million in new authorities in Ohio's 13th congressional district to allow the Army Corps of Engineers to contribute their expertise to the development of new and existing infrastructure projects that not only improve water and sewer infrastructure, but bolster our economic competitiveness. I am proud to have advocated for these resources to ensure that they were included in last year's WRDA. These programs allow communities in my district to have access to the infrastructure they need to flourish. And here's how. Under the Summit County New Authority, $25 million would have been authorized to fund projects such as Akron's water main and lead service line replacement, Fairlawns West Market Street water line replacement, New Franklin South Main Street stormwater replacement, Barbara and Stratford Street waterline project, and Fairlawns Rosemont Preserve project. Additionally, under Stark County's new authority, $24 million would have been authorized to fund projects such as Canton's Cromer Water Storage Reservoir replacement, improvements to the Ohio Erie Canalway Lock 4 Park, and North Lawrence's sanitary sewer project. Funding these projects is crucial to ensure my constituents have access to clean water in their homes. In order to truly make a difference for these communities, we must fully fund the programs that we authorize. For me, this is about my constituents and lowering their costs and allowing our communities to thrive. And because of aggressive gerrymandering in Ohio, people of Ohio's 13th congressional district paid taxes that never made it back to our communities. These funds went to places like California, New York, and God forbid, Michigan. And here's just another example of snatching hard-earned constituents' dollars that they expected to be reinvested in their community only to be sent elsewhere to pay for billionaire tax cuts or something else nefarious and nothing that anyone asked for. I came to Congress to do right by my community. And as I said earlier, I am proud to have ensured that $49 million in new infrastructure authorities were included to be funded in our community. But this work cannot get done if we do not appropriate the money to get the shovels in the ground. And for this reason and many others, I urge my colleagues to oppose this bill because it does not lower costs and harms our communities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today I rise to recognize Twinsburg firefighter and local hero Jacob Jarzab as Ohio's 13th Congressional District Champion of the Week. On August 17th, Joshua and his team responded to a 911 call for a basement fire. Joshua and his team acted swiftly, entering a burning home, fighting back flames, and clearing a path to the basement. Once underground, amidst thick smoke and scorching flames, Joshua and his team conducted a methodical search and later, excuse me, I lost my page. This is a really good story and I want you to hear it. Well, I don't know where it went, but here's the crux of the story. Joshua and his team entered into a house. They found an 8-month-old baby in the basement. Even though the flames were high and strong, they continued searching for this baby and ultimately rescued them. It took 12 minutes for Joshua and his team from the Twinsburg Fire Department to ensure that they got that baby out safe and sound. And I just want to say to Joshua and the entire Twinsburg Fire Safety Services team, there are people who run away from fire, but you all ran towards it. And not only do you run towards it, in that situation you ran every other day that you are on call. But in this particular moment, you saved a life, and we are so grateful for you. So to Joshua, the Twinsburg Fire Department, and all of those who protect and serve our communities, I say thank you and congratulations for being Ohio's 13th Congressional District Champion of the Week. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Minnesota, Ms. Fishbach, for 5 minutes.
I rise to congratulate the Piers Lakers in winning the Minnesota Baseball Association's Amateur State Championship. The Lakers fought valiantly through the Class C tournament, defeating the LeSueur Braves 11-1 to win the first ever state championship. It's great to see the tradition of town ball alive and well in Minnesota. Congratulations again to the Piers Laker on their victory. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Michigan, Ms. Tlaib, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I was proud of the community members that stood with us and partnered with me in creating the Fix Our Flooded Basements Act. Many people might not know this, but FEMA will cover helping get a new furnace, water heater, but they will not help in mitigating the toxins and the mold that can be created if they don't, again, get rid of the water and be able to clean out the basement. So in southeastern Michigan, we've seen that firsthand. We've had 2 national emergency declarations. Water damage, as you know, can lead to long-term issues regarding mold, toxins that impact the health of the family in the home. And again, too many of our families were denied FEMA assistance because the current rules do not cover repairs of most basements, where floods are often the most destructive. And again, it can lead to toxic mold if not mitigated. As flooding becomes more frequent due to the climate crisis, it's crucial that we take action to require FEMA, Mr. Speaker, to provide flood victims with the full resources they need to rebuild their lives. I still remember the senior in Inkster, Michigan. She was in her 70s, Mr. Speaker. And after the first declaration, her basement was flooded. She did not have the means nor the capabilities to be able to, again, get rid of the water that was in her basement. When I came by to visit her again, the water, because of the weather, froze in her basement. Years later, now she is dealing with toxic mold. So we need to have a legislative fix that is, again, helping mitigate those issues to make sure that our families are not living under unsafe conditions, exposed to serious health risks from mold, mildew, and moisture damage. Mr. Speaker, these are people recovering from a disaster. And to have FEMA say, no, we cannot help in this regards, even though they're exchanging the water heater, helping with the furnace, the fact that they will not mitigate the basement, again, leaves many of our families out. So a lot of my colleagues who have signed on to support this bill is the first time they realize that, again, FEMA did not do this. And maybe it was created because it was for the coastal communities, but we know communities like Michigan now are impacted in the Midwest. And so our fix, our Flooded Basements Act will make sure the federal disaster assistance finally covers, again, all the mitigation needs for basement water damage.
The bill would expand the coverage for federal assistance to cover the cost of repairing property and flooded damaged basements after a major disaster. Mr. Speaker, our residents must be able to live safely and fully rebuild their lives after disaster strikes. I urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to please support this legislation. It's critically important for our families. Families in our community are facing an affordability crisis. We hear it at our town halls, we hear it at every corner of our communities. And they're struggling with the rising grocery costs. The cost of groceries have gone up 28%. And the majority of Americans say that grocery prices are the major source of stress for their families. Now corporations are using new technology to raise prices in new ways and without the knowledge of the consumer. Electronic shelf labels allow stores to change prices in seconds. The industry is not shy about it. They admit that if it's hot outside, they say, we can raise the price of water and ice cream. Even worse, corporations are tracking you and using your own personal private information against you. We all know that companies collect and purchase a tremendous amount of our private data and personal information. These custom profiles, personal profiles on many of our families and residents allow companies to charge different people different prices for the same exact item by using things like mobile apps, online shopping, facial recognition technology. This is called surveillance pricing, and all of us need to wake up and see that this technology, again, is fixing prices, increasing cost on our families. Target, for example, charged consumers using this app higher prices when they were inside their stores, assuming that the consumer either wouldn't notice or was unlikely to go anywhere else. This is outrageous, Mr. Speaker, and wrong. Companies should not be able to use your online history, past purchases, the color of your skin, your income, where you work, your zip code, to charge you a higher price. Surveillance pricing will lead to increased costs for food and basic goods. It will harm working families who are already struggling to make ends meet. But this is not just about discriminatory technology. It's about corporate greed in our country. And CEOs are getting richer while working people struggle. I introduced the Stop Pricing Gouging and Grocery Act to ban personalized price gouging
Gentlewoman's time
by
has
grocery
expired.
stores, and I urge my colleagues to join me in this effort.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Smucker, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to honor the life of Lisa K. Colon of Lancaster City, who passed away on August 21st of 2025 at the age of 51. Lisa will be deeply missed by all who knew her, especially her family. She was a devoted wife to Rayali Colon, loving mother to Israeli, Victoria, and Rayalina, and proud grandmother to 3 granddaughters. She was also a faithful sister and daughter. Lisa represented, in many ways, what makes our community so great: a dedication to public service, a spirit of volunteering, a strong work ethic, and a deep love for God, family, and country. Born in Asheville, North Carolina, Lisa moved to Lancaster County in 1987 along with her family when her father transferred to the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. In the 2000s, Lisa furthered her education, graduating from Harrisburg Area Community College and then Penn State University with a bachelor's degree in accounting. She worked as a records officer at Lancaster County Prison and then moved to the Controller's Office as senior accountant and assistant manager before being elected by the voters of Lancaster County to serve as county controller in 2021, a position she held until her passing. Lisa was the first woman elected controller in Lancaster County, but her impact as a trailblazer and her contributions to her community extends far beyond her service as a public official. Lisa had a heart for giving back to the community, volunteering for the Lancaster City Parks Department, Adopt a Block, and homeless shelters in the city. She was president of the local Blue Stars Mothers of America chapter, which assists active duty military personnel, their families, and veterans. Lisa also served as chair of the Lancaster City Republican Committee and the assistant treasurer for the Republican Committee of Lancaster County. For her many professional and community achievements, Lisa was honored as a woman of influence by the Central Penn Business Journal just last year. It was a fitting recognition for the positive impact that Lisa has made on our community. Even while battling cancer, Lisa Cologne continued her duties as controller and did missionary work in Cambodia as well. Lisa left behind an incredible impact on both the community and those she met, and I am glad to have known her and have called her a friend for many years. As we mourn the passing and celebrate the life of Lisa Cologne, we offer our prayers of comfort to her family and to those who grieve. May they have peace, and may Lisa's memory and the lasting impact on our community continue to inspire others. And Mr. Speaker, with that, I yield back.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Rhode Island, Mr. Magaziner, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for the 35th time today to call on the Trump administration to restore life-saving food aid for malnourished children. As a reminder, back in January, Elon Musk and Donald Trump halted shipments of life-saving food aid to children around the world who need it to survive. This is Plumpy Nut, a peanut paste that is made specifically to treat children starving to death. See, when children are starving, their organs shut down. So even if you get food to them, they cannot process traditional food. They need this. This is their only chance at life. 2 years ago, Congress appropriated on a bipartisan basis, Democrats and Republicans, over $1 billion to get life-saving food aid and other aid to children around the world. This was produced in American factories with supplies that came from American farmers. The money was already approved. The money was already spent. Thousands of boxes of this life-saving food aid is now sitting in warehouses, including in my district in Rhode Island, because Donald Trump and Elon Musk stopped the program. Already paid for, already produced, children starving around the world, waiting for this life-saving aid, and it is sitting in warehouses while children starve. Congress came back and appropriated more funding for fiscal 25, $200 million plus. The Trump administration sat on that funding as well. Why? Well, interestingly, the administration for the last 8 months has insisted that they intend to restart this program. They have said, oh yes, it's coming back. They started saying that within the first few weeks. Elon Musk tweeted about it. Marco Rubio swore under oath that they were going to restart this program. But it's been 9 months. Where is the urgency? Finally, a few weeks ago, Adhesia Nutrition, the organization in my district that produces this food aid, received new orders from the State Department after 9 months. That is welcome news. But the days and weeks are continuing to tick by, and they still have not been told where to ship this food aid to. There's a lesson here. It is very easy for any idiot, any billionaire who's never worked in government, to go in and destroy a program. But then it's hard to rebuild it afterwards. And in the meantime, children are starving to death needlessly. So my message to the administration, once again, is to act with purpose, to act with urgency, to follow your own word, and to honor your commitment. You have said you are going to restart this program. You have awarded new contracts. Literally, all you got to do is hit a button and restart the shipments. That's all you have to do. It's been 9 months. These kids cannot wait a day longer. Restart the aid, disperse the funds, ship the food, save the children. And I will speak on this floor every day until you do. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor the life and legacy of a true Rhode Island original and hero, Judge Frank Caprio. Born to Italian immigrants in 1936, Frank was raised in the proud neighborhood of Federal Hill in Providence, Rhode Island. His family, like so many in Rhode Island, came across the country, valued hard work and service. Frank served on the Providence City Council and had a distinguished legal career before being appointed to the Providence Municipal Court as a judge in 1985, a career on the bench that would span nearly 4 decades. During this time, Judge Caprio became renowned for his sense of compassion and fairness in the courtroom, which eventually made him an international television star and a beloved example of compassionate leadership across the world. I will tell you, I still have friends and family from all over the country. People I meet, when they hear I'm from Rhode Island, they ask about that judge. In 2000, Judge Caprio launched his show Caught in Providence on WLNE TV in Rhode Island so that Rhode Islanders could see how the nicest judge in the world works up close and personal. And in 2018, the show gained national syndication, reaching audiences across the entire United States and the world. Judge Caprio's show was nominated for 4 Emmys, and clips from Caught in Providence showcasing his humanity have garnered billions of views on social media. Through his work on the bench, Judge Caprio has inspired countless people to treat others with kindness and empathy. My thoughts are with his family, his loving wife, his 5 children, his grandchildren, and everyone whose life has been touched by his work. I yield back.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Costa, for 5 minutes.
Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 5 minutes and to amend my remarks.
Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I rise to honor the life and the legacy of Dr. Joseph Castro, an exceptional leader who broke the glass ceiling as the first Latino to lead the California State University system, the largest university system in the nation, with 23 state campuses and over 500,000 students. A grandson of immigrants, his story is the American story. Raised by a single mother in Hanford, California, he was the first in his family to graduate from college. He never forgot the struggles his family faced, and he carried those lessons with him throughout his life as a role model. His journey reflected the hopes and the dreams of so many families in our valley and throughout our nation who work hard every day to hope to achieve a better life. That is why Joe made it his mission to open doors for others. From his time as a professor to his service as president of Fresno State and ultimately as chancellor to the university system, he dedicated his career to lift up students who, like him, came from very humble beginnings. That was Joe. That's who he was. And that's why we honor him. He believed that every young person deserved a chance to succeed, no matter what their background may be. I had the privilege of working with Joe on a wide range of initiatives, from protecting our dreamers to ensuring that they have a chance to achieve their full potential, to expanding global opportunities for students at Fresno State, through new study abroad partnerships with the University of the Azores and the Punjabi Agricultural University. This was just Joe. He would always reach out, not only throughout our valley, but throughout California. And these efforts didn't expand educational pathways, but they built bridges between our valley and the world. Joe understood that educating our children provided a foundation for future success. I mean, it's not rocket science. When our young people in this country get a complete education, a university education, they succeed. And guess what? When they succeed as part of America's future, America succeeds. That's why he dedicated his life to education.
To me, Joe was more than just a colleague. He was a dear, dear friend. I will remember him not only for his many accomplishments, but for his kindness, his generosity, and that big heart that Joe had. He was a true son of the Valley who never forgot where he came from and never stopped giving back. His legacy lives on for thousands and thousands of students whose life he changed in higher education. My thoughts and prayers go to Joe's wife, Mary, a true partner. They achieved so much together. His kids, Isaac and Lauren and Jess, as well as the countless people whose lives Joe touched. It was really remarkable. He left a mark on all of us that will never, ever fade, and that we should carry on in turn. I was honored to call him my friend, and I will miss him like so many deeply. He always challenged us at Fresno State to be bold, to be bold. For me, Joe, my friend, I will always think of you as Chancellor Emeritus. Go Fresno State Bulldogs. God bless you, Joe, and thank you for your service to a grateful nation. We will always remember. I yield back the balance of my time.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Washington, Mr. Baumgartner, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today with a heavy heart to honor the life and service of Spokane County Sheriff Kenneth Salas, who was tragically killed in the line of duty on August 9th while selflessly assisting with a traffic hazard on Interstate 90. Sergeant Salas served the people of Spokane County for more than 34 years, first as a corrections officer, then as a parole deputy, a detective, and ultimately as a patrol sergeant. He was known for not only his dedication in uniform, but for his deep commitment to helping others in every aspect of his life. Kenneth Salas also served our country for over 2 decades in the United States Air Force, retiring as a technical sergeant with the Washington State Air National Guard. Sergeant Salas was a protector, a mentor, and a beloved member of both law enforcement and military communities. Both I and everyone in Eastern Washington were keeping his wife, his family, and the entire Spokane County Sheriff's Office in our prayers. We are profoundly grateful for his life and of service, and we will never forget his sacrifice. And may we all appreciate and remember the sacrifice of our first-line responders and the service that they do every day for our communities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Arizona, Mr. Siscomani, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to honor Jerry Concilio, a World War II veteran, former mechanic, and aerospace foreman, and a beloved fixture of the Sierra Vista community for more than 4 decades. Died in July, just days before his 102nd birthday. Born in 1923, Jerry served in the U.S. Army during World War II, where he participated in some of the most harrowing campaigns in Europe. He landed at Normandy on D-Day and later fought in the brutal Battle of the Bulge. He was awarded 2 Bronze Stars and left the Army with the rank of sergeant. After the war, Jerry built a life-grounded and hard-working community. He owned an auto shop and later worked in aerospace, contributing to the early development of the Boeing 747 landing gear at Aerojet. Jerry then moved to Sierra Vista more than 40 years ago. He built deep ties with the community and was well known amongst veterans. He attended Our Lady of the Mountains Catholic Church and had a vibrant social life even into his second century. Jerry had relocated to Tennessee earlier this year to be close to family as his wife Nancy battled health concerns. Since his passing, his family plans to return his ashes to Sierra Vista, fulfilling his wishes to be remembered in the community that he loved. My thoughts and prayers are with the Consiglio family and Sierra Vista community. Jerry was a true role model for absolutely everyone. Mr. Speaker, I rise today with a heavy heart to honor Kelly Pierce, who tragically and unexpectedly passed away on August 1st of this year. Kelly was a mom of 3 boys. She was a daughter, granddaughter, friend, cousin, and a women's soccer coach. Kelly coached at Pima Community College, Mountain View High School, CDO Soccer Club, and FC Tucson. But she's most recently known for coaching the varsity women's soccer team at South Point High School Lancers, where she graduated from in 1999. As a player, Kelly won 2 state championships, and later as a coach, she led the Lancers to 6 state championships in the past 8 years, a truly remarkable feat. Only 44 years old, Kelly was passionate and devoted to her family and coaching. She was widely known in our community for her soccer talent and had been involved with youth soccer for nearly 20 years. She was an inspiration to young female athletes, instilling self-confidence and the power as individuals. Among her cousins, she was the leader with all the confidence, who was admired with the biggest and most giving heart. And later in life, her boys were everything to her. She was a dedicated mother who always prioritized her boys and their well-being. My prayers are with her 3 sons, Tyler, Brady, and Camden, her partner Joey Bernier, her brothers Jeff and Donald Pierce, and her large extended family, including her mom, grandmother, cousins, plus the players she loved so much, both current and former. Kelly truly reflects what I love most about our district. She was hardworking, passionate, and dedicated. She leaves a humongous hole in our community and will be dearly missed. As her family, friends, and the South Point community grieve, know that our community is alongside you. Kelly, may your legacy on this earth continue to inspire future generations, and may you rest in peace. I yield back.
Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the Chair declares the House in recess until noon today.